The Galactic Academy's xenobiology classroom erupted in terror as the specimen containment field flickered and died. Professor Zektar's 4 eyes widened in horror as the Vorthak, a massive crystalline predator from the death world of Kethmore, broke, free from its restraints with a sound like shattering glass. The creature stood nearly 3 meters tall, its translucent body pulsing with bioluminescent veins that cast eerie patterns across the classroom walls. Razor-sharp crystalline spines protruded from its back, and its maw opened to reveal rows of diamond-hard teeth that could slice through starship hull plating. The Vorthak had been sedated for the lesson, but something had gone wrong with the containment system. Students scattered in every direction, their various species' panic responses kicking in. The Altarians phased partially out of reality. The Quellic rolled into defensive balls, and the insectoid hive minds began broadcasting distress pheromones. Professor Zektar, a usually composed Zentarian, stumbled backward on his 6 legs, reaching desperately for the emergency beacon. Only one student remained seated. Marcus Chen, the lone human in advanced xenobiology, watched the Vorthak with curious fascination rather than fear. While his classmates' screams echoed through the chamber, he noticed something the others had missed. The creature wasn't attacking. It was swaying slightly, its bioluminescent patterns pulsing in rapid, erratic bursts. "Professor," Marcus called, out calmly, his voice cutting through the chaos. "I don't think it's aggressive. Look at the light patterns." The Vorthak's head swiveled toward the sound of his voice, and Marcus found himself staring into alien eyes that seemed to hold intelligence far beyond what the textbook suggested. The creature took a step forward, its crystalline feet clicking against the classroom floor, and several students screamed louder, but Marcus stood up slowly, his movements deliberate and non-threatening. He'd grown up on a frontier colony where humans had learned to coexist with various dangerous species. His grandmother had taught him that fear often made predators more dangerous than they needed to be. "It's hungry," Marcus said, reaching into his backpack. "Not aggressive, hungry. The sedatives probably interfered with its last feeding cycle." Professor Zektar's translator crackled with disbelief. "Student Chen, retreat immediately. The Vorthak are apex predators. They consume energy directly from living beings." Marcus pulled out his lunch, a simple protein bar and a thermal container of coffee. The Vorthak's light patterns shifted, the erratic pulses becoming more regular. It tilted its massive head, studying the human who showed no fear. "That's right," Marcus said softly, extending the protein bar toward the creature. "I know you're not really a monster. The textbooks got it wrong, didn't they? You're not just predators, you're scavengers too. And you're starving." The Vorthak moved closer, its deadly claws retracting slightly. The classroom fell silent, except for the soft humming of the creature's internal resonance chambers. Marcus could see now that its crystalline body was slightly dimmed, lacking the brilliant luminescence described in their study materials. With careful movements, Marcus unwrapped the protein bar and placed it on the floor between them. The Vorthak extended a tendril-like appendage from its chest, an organ the textbooks had labeled as purely offensive, and gently touched the offering. The moment the creature made contact with the protein bar, its entire body flared with brilliant light. The emergency lighting seemed pale in comparison to the radiant display as the Vorthak absorbed the energy from the simple human food. Its posture changed, becoming less predatory and more curious. "Impossible," Professor Zektar whispered. "The Vorthak only consume bioelectrical energy from living prey." Marcus smiled, opening his coffee container. The rich aroma filled the air, and the Vorthak's light pattern shifted to what could only be described as interest. That's what the researchers thought because they only studied them in combat situations. But look, it's not trying to drain our life force. It just needed food. He poured some coffee into the container's lid and set it down. The Vorthak extended another tendril, this one smaller and more delicate, and touched the liquid. Immediately, its lights became warmer, more golden than the harsh blue they'd been before. The other students slowly emerged from their hiding places, watching in amazement, as the supposedly deadly predator became increasingly docile. Some began taking notes on their data pads, recognizing they were witnessing something unprecedented. The biochemical composition must be compatible, one of the hive mind students buzzed excitedly. But how did the human know? Marcus continued to offer small portions of his lunch to the Vorthak. Each gesture met with increasingly friendly light displays. On my colony world, we learned that most conflicts with native species came from misunderstanding their needs. Desperation makes anything dangerous, but meeting those needs. He gestured to the now peacefully glowing creature. Sometimes that changes everything. Professor Zektar slowly approached, his scientific curiosity overcoming his fear. The implications of this discovery, if the Vorthak aren't obligate predators, if they can form symbiotic relationships with other species. The Vorthak, now satisfied and calm, settled onto the floor near Marcus. Its light patterns had become rhythmic and soothing, almost musical. Other students began to approach, offering their own food items, though none were as readily accepted as the humans. Protein-rich offerings. As the emergency response team burst through the doors, energy weapons raised, they found not a deadly predator terrorizing a classroom, but a peaceful scene of interspecies cooperation. The Vorthak looked up at them with what could only be interpreted as contentment, its dangerous spines retracted and its bioluminescence painting the room in warm, welcoming hues. Marcus scratched behind what he assumed were the creature's auditory organs, earning a pleased harmonic hum. Sometimes, he said, to his astounded classmates, the scariest monsters just need a friend and a good meal. The incident would later be studied across the galaxy, leading to a complete revision of Vorthak behavioral understanding and opening new possibilities for diplomatic contact with their entire species. But in that moment, Marcus simply smiled, as the creature he'd befriended settled down for what appeared to be a very contented nap. After all, he thought, humans had always been good at making friends in unexpected places.